Hello again. Now let's bring you this story. The Basic Education Department has evaluated the readiness of over 100 matric marking centres across the country. The work is expected to begin as soon as the last paper is written on the 9th of December. That is next week sometime. Now, for more details on this, we're joined by the department's Elijah Mhlanga. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. Just wondering if you'd be concerned with the stage 6 of power cuts now, starting from today, and their likely impact on the readiness of the over 100 matric marking centres.
Good afternoon, Braden. Of course, we are concerned because we need electricity for the work that we do. The marking has already started. The DJ was in the Eastern Cape yesterday, and today he was in the Northern Cape monitoring marking, but it will begin in earnest on the 10th. But already the indications from ESCOM are that we are going to have some challenges when it comes to the capturing of the marks. Just like the writing, marking does not really need electricity because it's just the paper and the pens which they use to mark. The biggest problem is when the capturing has to take place, because that's the most sensitive part of that job, which needs to be done so carefully when all the marks are now entered into a computer to be sent through to the Department of Basic Education offices in Pretoria. So we are concerned, but because we know the marking centers are not as many as schools, contingency measures could be made.
Okay, let's hope things can improve for you. But are you ready? Let's leave electricity aside for now. Everything else is ready?
Yeah, everything is ready. We have done the checks. In fact, even now at 4 p.m., we're going to have another meeting with the heads of exams to just do the final check with them, because officially the exam had ended today, except that we added tomorrow for those rewrite papers in the areas which were affected by disruptions of different types. But we are going to check with them if indeed the papers can start to move in large numbers to the different centers for marking to begin. But we also expect our markers to descend on the different marking centers from their own schools, from their own locations, and prepared to be away from home, those that live in the places where the marking centers are taking place for the next 10 days. So 10 days from the 10th of December is the time when marking in earnest is going to be taking place.
Okay, that matter of that maths paper 2, there was a question there which was faulty. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, that paper, a decision was made to remove the 7 marks. The paper would now be marked out of 143 as opposed to 150, because that 5.1 question in the maths paper was worth 7 marks, which have now have been removed because it was determined and confirmed by the exam technicians that, in fact, there was no way that the learners were going to be able to answer that question. So the best thing to do was to do away with it so that everyone is not disadvantaged.
Okay, when you check for the readiness, you said you're going somewhere this afternoon at 4 o'clock as you continue to prepare for the marking to start officially next week. What are these things that you are looking for to convince yourselves that the centre is ready?
Well, for marking, there are 2 things. The first one is accommodation for the markers, and 2, the centre itself, if it can accommodate the number of people in terms of the room where the marking is taking place. The accommodation and catering for the markers is very important. We want our markers to be absolutely comfortable every time they are there, so that they can focus on the job at hand. But in terms of transportation of the papers and the distribution, that's something that we have experience in doing. But of course, it's something that we also check to see that indeed the scripts that were supposed to be there are in the right numbers, and the markers are there in the right numbers, and that everyone will be there to do the job. Of course, the issue of safety is another one, because people are going to be spending time in one place for an extended period. So we expect that people will be safe in terms of COVID restrictions. The masks that they need to wear, because that's one of the things that we have continued to keep in place because we want to make sure that everyone is safe and no one is injured. So if you feel that you need them to keep a mask on, please do that, but also make sure that you take care of the safety of other people.
Okay. My final question to you, Mr. Mhlanga, is the following. This class of Matric, the class of 2022, has had a very rough ride, because in 2020 they were in grade 10, last year, 2021, they were in grade 11, and that was during the lockdown, a very tough time in the world indeed, and they've had to catch up, they've had to do things differently. What are you, as a department, hoping these results will show?
Well, that's a difficult question because, as you indicated, the situations have been complex. They've never seen any normal learning really since grade 9 in 2019. So they went into grade 10, then COVID happened 2 months in, and then from there it was a very difficult situation. But we tried to support them as much as possible, particularly in their grade 11 and 12 years. So we believe that they would have attained a certain degree of readiness, which would make them feel comfortable to face the examination. So we are looking for some positive results, also because we created camps. The DG went around to see them, and schools also created extra tuition time. So that created that additional time that they would have lost because of COVID to make sure that they are ready. So if it can remain the same as last year or a slight improvement, that would really be something good to talk about, because they've come against a whole range of issues, and for them to achieve a good mark would really be something worth commending.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and all the best with those preparations for marking the Matric exam papers. That's Elijah Mhlanga speaking on behalf of the Department of Basic Education.